Our Sun is a middle-aged star that is neither particularly large nor hot. And we're very lucky because if our planet had two suns, Earth would be an extremely inhospitable place to live. Here's why. You might think having two suns would mean twice as much light and warmth, but it's not quite that simple. Having two stars that are similar to our Sun would bring about some dramatic changes to our planet. Firstly, there would be no nice gradual transitions between day and night, or seasons for that matter. Instead, we'd have two sets of 6 hours each of daylight and darkness with a 4-hour overlap in twilight where one sun is setting while the other is rising. This would result in only two seasons, summer and winter, instead of the 4 we have now, and they would last for 6 months each. This is because the Earth's axis is tilted at approximately 23.5 degrees. So when one sun is directly overhead, the other would be either shining on the opposite hemisphere, which would be experiencing winter, or at the horizon, which would be summer. During these 6-month-long days, the weather would be extreme. There would be intense heat waves and storms followed by long, dark nights with freezing temperatures and strong winds. Also, since both the suns would be close to the horizon during the winter, the Earth's surface would receive much less solar radiation, resulting in an ice age. And during the summer, we'd face a runaway greenhouse effect. The increased amount of carbon dioxide and water vapor in the atmosphere, which would occur due to the higher temperatures, would trap more heat from both suns, possibly increasing the Earth's temperature by several degrees. As a result, oceans would evaporate faster and rain less, leading to droughts and wildfires. In such conditions, Earth wouldn't be suitable for life as we know it. Plants and animals would have to adapt quickly or go extinct. Some species may choose to hibernate during the harsh winters, while others would migrate to more temperate regions. But even then, the length of a day, 6 hours, would make photosynthesis impossible. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize foods with chlorophyll as the catalyst. But this process requires a lot of sunlight. So most plants would need at least 12 hours of daylight to photosynthesize enough food to survive. A few hardy ones might manage to adapt to the lower light conditions by evolving a new pigment that captures more of the available light or by altering their metabolism to function more efficiently. On the other hand, animals would face challenges such as obtaining enough food and regulating their body temperature in the absence of sufficient vegetation. Some animals might evolve nocturnal habits to avoid the scorching heat during the day. And those that cannot adapt will die out. Humans would likely face similar challenges. We might find ways to adapt, but many of us would probably perish. It's hard to say whether we could even survive in such conditions. If the two suns were smaller and cooler than our sun, it could be a different story. For example, if one or both of the suns were red dwarfs, the weather wouldn't be so extreme. Red dwarfs are small and cool stars that emit most of their light in the infrared part of the spectrum. They also have strong magnetic fields that make them flare up and emit X-rays and ultraviolet radiation. If one of the suns were a red dwarf, its intense, constant flaring would strip away Earth's atmosphere over time. Our planet would become a barren, lifeless rock like Mars. The other sun would be too far away to provide enough heat and light for life to thrive. So it's just as well that our sun is not a red dwarf and that it has a relatively small number of sunspots compared to bigger stars like Sirius, which has more than twice as many sunspots as our sun. An excessive number of sunspots can disrupt our planet's climate and pose a threat to satellites and power grids. Even moderate fluctuations in the sun's activity can impact Earth's climate. For instance, the 11-year solar cycle causes the temperature on Earth to vary by about 1 degree Celsius. In conclusion, we really are in a Goldilocks zone with our current star. If our sun were more massive, Earth would be a scorched desert. And if it were smaller, we'd be frozen. But as it is, we have just the right amount of warmth. So let's take good care of it. Otherwise, we might end up like those unfortunate wretches who stare directly at the double feature on the screen. Now check out what would happen if you dropped a UFO into the sun or watched this video instead.